Man, it's still hot in here. Jeez. Still hot in here. Jeez. The improvements I made to my apartment to maintain the heat in here are really, really working quite well. I actually bought a door suite for my door, some brand new air conditioning foam for my bedroom windows, and to replace some of the foam on the door buck so it gets hot in here real quick. I've actually been able to reduce the temperature in my apartment by 4 to 5 degrees on average. So that's going to save me a ton of money on my electric bill, which this month is like $140. That's a lot for me, for here. But got the sugar-free Gatorade going. Wait for a couple minutes and we see what happens. What's going on, Stories and Cardboard? How you doing, my friend? He says, your dad had comic books too. I collected comic books before I collected cards. Well, my dad was a bit of an oddball guy, being that he worked in union construction, especially when times got tough, when I was much, much younger, and I really didn't understand any of it, so I went through my own things. A lot of people gave him a lot of stuff. I mean, my dad pretty much was like how can you put this? He was very scrappy. So when he worked on people's homes and apartments and things like that, people would give him old record players. They give him old headphones. They give him VHS cassettes. Like, he was one of those guys. He had that kind of reputation. So every time he did work, somebody would give him something. Now, I don't know if that's the case for my dad's comic books. Norma Lusk, how you doing? Welcome to this live stream. Yeah, and my dad had a very oddball collection of things that he collected on his own, but people also gave him a lot of stuff too, as a thank you for the good work that he did. Unfortunately, like I said, back in the early 80s into the mid 90s, things were very tough for my family, unfortunately. My dad lost a union job, or union career, I should say, to be more specific, because things were really awful with the unions in New York. What's going on? I don't even know how to say this. Messias. I'm not going to say that because it sounds like something else. So I'm just going to leave that be. Do me a solid, everybody. If you can, hit that thumbs up button. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button as well. I'd really appreciate it. But yeah, my dad, he used to collect old coins. As a matter of fact, this is not one of his coins. This is something that was given to me within like the last 10 years. That's a Susan B. Anthony silver dollar that I keep for good luck. My dad used to collect coins, old currency, that sort of thing. And my dad was a very oddball collector of things, so not that he was a hoarder or anything like that. It's just if he saw something, like most people of the time, he thought it would be valuable someday. I don't know what's in here. I haven't seen this yet. When my father passed away, my brother sent me this. Now, we've already seen my father's vintage cards here on the channel, at least some of them, not all of them. But this is my first time going through this package that my brother sent me. Now, I haven't opened this up since June, since my brother shipped it to me from his house in Pennsylvania, from my brother's house in Pennsylvania, because my dad was born and bred in Pennsylvania. So I kind of have an idea of what's in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the camera close to me here, and I'm going to angle this down towards my desk so all of you can see. And we'll go through this one by one to tell. I kind of have an idea of what may be in here, because I used to harass and harangue my dad about his comic books. I know he's like me, or I'm like him, I should say. That's proper English, because he's the elder of the two. He was a Star Trek fan. I collected something since I can remember: stamps, coins, newspapers, comics, and cards. Yeah, my dad was the same way. He was just an oddball collector of things. And, we've already seen my dad's vintage cards here on the channel. I kind of have an idea what's in here, or at least I think I know what's in here. Yeah, I can already see the first book up on top here. My dad loved sci-fi. He loved black and white war movies. He loved all that kind of stuff. So I'm not expecting these things to be valuable. I don't care if they're valuable or not. I don't care what they're worth on my father's comic book. So might as well just get this started. Again, if you're new to the channel, do me a solid. If you enjoy what you see, subscribe to the channel and hit that thumbs up button. Also, in the description box of this live stream is a link to my eBay store. Go check it out. It's called the Carolina Collector 001. I'm selling loose sports cards and various other items. I do have a bit of a discussion that I may do a separate video for when it comes to a card that I sold last night, which was shocking for what it sold for, but it's Christmas. I don't want to think about negativity right now. We're going to look at some of my dad's comic books again. I haven't really looked at these since my father passed away. I kind of have an idea what may be in here. And if my dad was alive, he'd be like, what the fuck are you doing with my comic books? That's how he was. I could tell these have been sitting around for a while because the Scotch tape is yellow. The sleeves are not all that great. None of the, I mean, only a handful of these are in sleeves. Let's crack open this guy and see what's in there. Boris Karloff. It's got like that Jack Kirby feel to the inside of this. God, if my dad was alive right now, he'd be screaming at me for touching these. There you go. Gold Key Comics. Again, I don't anticipate, I mean, none of these are going to be in mint condition or anything like that. I mean, that's just how my dad was. He got them, he put them up in the bedroom closet, left them there, you know, and then I guess when he got his house in Pennsylvania, he decided to, I guess, take them with him. But these came directly from my younger brother, so The Flash, Fastest Man Alive. I should actually find a copyright date on these. So this is November. Look at that, 60 cents for a comic book. What are they today? So this one, I'm just looking for a copyright date. The Flash, USPS, something, volume 34, number December 1982. 1982. Okay. I got Superman in Action Comics, number 537. So I'm going to assume this is around the same time frame. Oh, yeah, you could tell this is from the 80s. Look at that, Masters of the Universe. That means He-Man, basically, which I've reviewed here on the channel. I still have a whole bunch of He-Man stuff to review. Okay. Masters of the Universe. I guess that's a little bonus story right there. Some He-Man stuff in there. We have another Superman. This one looks to be really vintage. I mean, obviously, it's not in the best shape in the world, but who cares? Superman number 353. This has to be early 80s at least. Yeah, 1980. Justice League America. This one's all messed up. Crisis on Earth Prime, Book 5. This is probably also an 80s book. Yeah, 1982. '80s cartoons and stuff. Pretty. What do we got here? We have Action Comics. This is probably another 80s one. Action Comics 541. This is from 1983. Okay. I stopped collecting comics in 1981. Now these comics are old. What does that make me? Probably makes you a boomer. I'm starting to reach boomer status myself. I'm almost 50 years old. So we have Kamandi, Last Boy on Earth, number 45. This is one of those oddball DC titles. And again, this one's a little older. This one's from 1976. Okay. I see another Superman up on top. Special Superman. I don't remember these at all. Now, I know my dad had some Star Trek comic books, and he had Tales from the Crypt and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if that's going to be in here. Like I said, this is the first time I'm looking at these since he passed away. So I couldn't really tell you what's in here. I mean, my brother's the one that packed these up for me, so... And by the way, big special shout out to my niece. I hope she's doing well, especially for Christmas. She's had a pretty rough go. So we have a special Superman number 3 right here. And this is definitely from the 80s because you see the GoBots. Now, card collectors, sports card collectors, this is what you don't do with cards. You don't use masking tape because over time, if that tape sits for too long, this is what happens. It turns to goo. And you could potentially catch that goo on your cards or even on these comic books. It's really not good. So we have Special Superman number 3. I'm going to say this is probably like 1982. 1984. Man, I'm way off. V for Vendetta. I wonder what happened to my fucking V for Vendetta comic book. I actually had the hardcover reproduction of V for Vendetta. So, okay. I'm definitely not going to put that back in this plastic bag because that tape may catch something. Superman and Wonder Woman. Compliments of Radio Shack. There used to be a Radio Shack in my old neighborhood that my dad used to take us to all the time. And he always got, like, electronics from there, whether it was a VHS player or any of that stuff. That's pretty neat. 1982. Wow. I haven't heard that name Radio Shack in years. Yeah, my dad used to go there all the time with us to go get, like, VHS stuff. He would get, like, the VHS cleaning cassettes that you put like the drops of the cleaning solution in the cassette, and then you put it in your VCR, and it's supposed to clean the VCR heads and all that stuff. He would get blank VHS cassettes from there. He would get old cassettes like music cassettes from there. Supervillains number 7. Oh, we have an Amazing Spider-Man in there. So this is from 1977. Stories and Cardboard asks, is Radio Shack still around? I think their website exists, but I don't think there are any more physical brick and mortar stores anymore. I know in New York, where I grew up, the one that I used to go to shut down many years ago. I think they went bankrupt. This one's from 1991. Mark Bagley doing Spider-Man. Bagley didn't have a bad Spider-Man. I think he took cues from Todd McFarlane. So this would have been around the time when, like, McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, and all them guys were coming about. Jim Lee. Bagley had a really nice Spider-Man, too. That's definitely during the Todd McFarlane era. We have another Superman here. Annual Superman number 10. 1984. So all of these are turning out to be mostly, for the most part, 1980s. Oh my God, look at that. An Atari advertisement. I mean, it is period accurate because the Atari 2600 was still a thing. And then you had the 5200 and then the 7800. So that kind of makes sense. So, I mean, I don't want to make these pages any worse than what they are. But the Sword of Superman. Okay. A bit odd. Then we have Superman and the Atomic Knights. Okay. This one's dated 1983. Another Superman Special Crisis crossover. A lot of DC comics in here. I was expecting, as I remember my dad specifically having Star Trek comics. Oh my God, look at how age appropriate this is on the back. Look at that. Mattel Electronics and Television. They just came out with a brand new Intellivision, as a matter of fact, a new retro system. I mean, I have the Intellivision flashback here, so I'm on my way to get this new one that came out. I'm also aware that the Vectrex Mini is doing, what do you call that, a fundraiser through GoFundMe, I think, or something like that. Or Indiegogo, or whatever it is. Look at how period accurate this is. Mask. My brother was a Mask kid. I really wasn't. A lot of Superman in here. The Man Who Saw Superman Die. I spent many hours on the Atari 2600 in the early 80s. Yeah, my dad, I remember specifically going with my dad. I think my brother was too young. I don't think my brother went with us. I don't remember. But I remember specifically going with my father and getting into his Chevy Nova, his 73 Chevy Nova, and getting on the Grand Central Parkway, or was it the Long Island Expressway? And headed out to Long Island to a Toys R Us. And, yeah, went with my father to go pick up the Intellivision. I wonder if that coupon's still good. It's funny you just said that in the chat. The ads are almost as good as the comic. Yeah, it's wild to see this. I wonder if this is still good. Get me some free comic book order form with Fig Newtons. Received by December 31st, 1984. Ah, shit. Which is a couple years too late. That's funny. Another Superman. Man, there's a lot of Superman in here. This is not what I was expecting. Superman number 378. I wonder if this is in the same continuity as The Death of Superman. December 1982. I would have to assume so. I mean, I haven't collected comic books in many years. That was another hobby I gave up many moons ago. Anybody want to order for a watch, by the way? Yeah, we got to look at the back of these, too. I know I've been kind of like flying through these, but the advertisements are wild. Oh, my God. Like the last comic book here, I played the shit out of this game on my father's Intellivision. I love this game. There is a version for Atari that's kind of wonky, but this one was a lot of fun, man. It was one of my favorite games on the Intellivision when my dad was alive many moons ago. We have a Superboy number 37. It doesn't look like a boy. It looks like Superman. Zagnut. Anybody want a Zagnut? Look at this. Oh, no. Oh, my God. It's not even a Walkman. It's an AM/FM radio. Bubbly-um. Batman's in here with the Joker. Jeez. Look at this. This is when you know you're dealing with old school comic books. Okay, what we got? Ooh, Sergeant Rock. That's a title I haven't heard of in a long time. It's a lot of DC comics. This is not what I was expecting. 1983. Look at that. Arcade advertisements. That's crazy. Along with the model from the video game. Holy shit. Oh, I wonder if my friend Albert Lee is still out there somewhere. Dungeons and Dragons. I remember playing that in elementary school. Oh, yeah, we got to look at the back also. Legos. Old school Lego sets. I can tell these are very dusty. Man. Oof. Action Comics, 540. All my childhood memories. I have to run, my friend. Take care. Thanks for joining up anyway. I really appreciate you supporting the channel and watching this live stream. And Merry Christmas if I don't do another live stream. So we press on. More Lego advertisements in the back. What else we got here on the inside? Looks like somebody was trying to do this puzzle in the back. They found Apple. There they go. These are the books I was talking about right there. Action Comics, number 473, 35 cents. What's a comic book going for these days? Sea monkeys. Anybody want to order sea monkeys? God. Oh my God. Let's see. When is this one date? So somebody wrote 1977 in there, but the copyright date's like right there. I guess they didn't know any better. Oh well. Let me take a little bit of a break here, man. That dust coming off these comic books is killing me. Got me my sugar-free Gatorade going right there. These are the books I was talking about, the Gold Key books. I don't even know if I want to take these out of the plastics. The Twilight Zone. God, this has my father written all over them. These are the ones I remember him having. Should I chance opening these? I mean, I don't think they're really... Again, I mean, I really don't care about the value. I'm just worried that these things may get destroyed by me touching them. Especially when they turn yellow like this. That's not a good sign. What the hell? Giant Play Zoo Animal Collection? Should we send out for that and see what happens? These were actually kind of cool. They did reissue some of these books. I remember was Charleston Chew, I think. If you collected enough of them, you can actually send away for a comic book or two. Look at that. Old school advertising. What year is this from? Let me... If it's right, this has to be 60s at least. Postmaster, please send notices, blah, blah, blah. December 1970. Yeah, I would like to put these in brand new sleeves. Or get top loaders for these. But at least at minimum. See, I'm really afraid. That's why I don't want to take these out, because getting them back in is going to be a challenge. I really don't want to mess these up. I know they're already old and worn down, but still. There's another Twilight Zone. Dead Indians. Look out, racist, racist, racist. He's talking about Indians. Racist, racist. Fuck you. You don't change history by burying history. You learn from the past to make a better future, but you don't bury the past. Like with that stupid thing they did with the Robert E. Lee statue in Washington recently. They did that shit here in Charlotte, too. And all over the Carolinas, trying to get rid of statues, like of Confederates or whatnot. History is history, whether you like it or not. It, what, who, pronoun, Marxist, socialist, commie, leftists. Learn from the past. It'll do you good. It'll do you good. It'll increase your IQ. And you'll be a fountain of useless knowledge when idiots try to talk about things they don't really know about or have a clue about. Man, I really don't want to mess this up. Oh, check this out. This is pretty cool. Make money, get prizes with fast-selling American seeds. This is like the old school candy sales we used to have in school. I think my niece and nephew still kind of do that to this day in school. I miss doing the candy sales in school. And what was awesome, my dad used to bring, I know he did it for me and my brother. I don't know about my sister, but he would bring the order forms for the candy to all of his buddies at work, and they would all buy candy. There you go, another Twilight Zone. I'm not going to open these up because I'm really afraid of damaging them. And we have here the Invaders. See, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. This is the stuff I was hoping to see. U.S. astronauts become pawns of the invaders in the orbit of doom, 1967. What we got here? Ghost stories. Now, these are the kind of comic books a young lad like my dad probably would have read back in the days. Look at that, 15 cents for a comic book. You can't get anything for 15 cents these days. I don't even think you could buy a piece of loose leaf paper for 15 cents. Look at that. That's something definitely my dad would buy as a kid. Oh, I'm so afraid to like mess with this because these pages are pretty yellow and dried out. 1970. A couple of years before I was born. Beautiful and appealing oil paintings, now yours as full-color large art prints, all for $1. There you go. Put that back in there. I'm really, really afraid to ruin these. I don't want to ruin these things. Like I'm trying to be so gentle with these. But they're very musty. I got to see how I'm going to store these now. I do have an empty drawer in my bedroom I can put these in temporarily until I figure out what I do with these. The Golden Armored Ghost Strikes. These are all stuck together. Ghost Stories. Check this out. Dark Shadows. This was a TV show, wasn't it? That's pretty cool. Oh, man, these things are really musty. Jesus. The Witching Hour. That's old school right there. I'm just curious to see what year these are. I really want to open these things up, but yeah, look how old that Scotch tape is. I know if I pull this apart, that Scotch tape is going to... Yeah, it's already crumpling. Oh, man, I want to be careful here. God, if my dad was alive, he'd be screaming at me. What the F are you doing with my comic books, you... The Witching Hour. 1969. Look at them old school ads, man. That's so Americana. Free book tells you how you can build a rugged body. Command respect and admiration, fear no man. You can never have an advertisement today with, you know, the woke, who, overweight, fat pronoun idiots out there. You can never have that today. Racist, racist, racist. Do like what I did. Lose 100 pounds and make yourself healthier. I was almost 300 pounds, and I'm floating around 195 at this point. Give me a break. Racist, racist. Protest, protest. Racist, cancel him. Mission Impossible. This is cool. 1967. That's awesome. I'm not even going to even try to take that out of that. What the hell is this? Mickey Mouse and Goofy? What the hell is this? Well, it's got a 1976 date on the backside, so I'm going to assume that this is fairly a fairly recent book. Oh man, this is another one of those books I'm afraid to take out of the bag. I mean, I don't know if it was my dad or my brother that put this thing inside of a plastic bag, but I'm curious as to what year it is, though. Let's see here. Mickey and Goofy explore energy. Oh no! Shut it down. Cancel him. Climate change. Climate change. There you go. It just looks like we'll have to try to find some more oil and some more gas and uranium too. So Disney were a bunch of hypocrites back then. It's the same. Oh man, these books are dusty. Look at all this. They're talking about American energy. This is when Disney was patriotic. Excuse me. Oh man, these things are dusty. Just kind of thumbing through this. Racist, racist. It's funny. Conserve energy. Oh, actually, this is the complete opposite. Right now, progress is being made to get energy from the biggest and cleanest powerhouse of them all, the sun. So actually, this is an old school woke Disney book. Perpetual motion machines. Yeah, that's what this is. They were trying to promote that climate change shit way back when as well, it looks like. Renewable resource. Yeah. Oh, I lost interest in that real quick. Ripley's Believe It or Not. I remember watching that on TV with my kid. With my dad, I should say. Excuse me. As a kid. That's what I meant to say. Derp, derp. Another Ripley's Believe It or Not. Where I really thought, man, I thought my brother would have sent me those Star Trek books. True Weird Stories. I'm not going to open these because, again, a hunter makes his first kill and pays dearly for the reward he expects. Oh, okay. I don't know what that is, but we have a passenger. What the hell is that thing? No, it's dead, obviously, whatever it is. Yikes. Back to DC. Oh, these are Marvel comics now. Okay. Spider-Woman. Ooh, Dick Tracy. Check that out. Spider-Woman. Number 5. $1978. And we have this Dick Tracy. This is cool right here. This is awesome. Dick Tracy number 1. Dick Tracy versus Mrs. Pruneface. That's awesome. I wonder what year this came out. It's $1.95, so I'd have to assume it's fairly... The original Dick Tracy number 1, September 1990. It looks a lot older than what it is. That's the crazy part. It looks much older than what it really is. That's scary. We got here Twilight Zone. I'm gonna assume my brother has the rest of my dad's comic books because I remember him having Tales from the Crypt and Star Trek GI Combat. This one's pretty recent. Yeah, man, these things are musty. I'm actually getting a headache. By right, I should have put a mask on my face. Yeah, 1977. Yeah, these are really dusty. It's starting to aggravate my throat. Justice League America. This is probably 80s as well. I'm going to assume. 1983. There's another Action Comics. I mean, I don't want to bother my brother because my brother's dealing with a lot with my niece, with his daughter, so I don't want to push. So I'm going to get this plastic off of there too, because does Superman have a future? We all know the outcome up until Doomsday showed up. Hercules Unbound. It's another one of those oddball DC titles. Number 6. Action Comics 539. Dr. Action. What the fuck is that? Let me get this out of this plastic. It's pretty shitty anyway. The Incredible Hulk Death Match. Oh my God. Look at that. Holy shit. I remember these advertisements for comic books back in the day. I never ordered from them personally. Wow, that's a throwback. That's cool. Dr. Atomic. What the hell? Oh, adults only. Hold on. I got to look at this. Yeah, I'm not going to show what's inside here because it's promoting Mary J., if you catch my drift. Yeah, I'm not going to show the contents of the inside of this thing. I mean, there's nothing inappropriate. Yeah, it's promoting Mary J. Mary G. Wanna. I'm not showing this on camera. No, thank you. Dated 1972, by the way. Ripley's Believe It or Not. Yeah, so I'm going to guess my brother still has a lot of my dad's comic books. Yeah, because he had a lot of Star Trek. He had a lot of Tales from the Crypt. I clearly remember that as a kid. He also had the Post magazine from World War II, which promoted like Rosie the Riveter and all that kind of stuff. I would have to talk to my mom about that and see what went where. But this is just clearly a small chunk of the cards, or the comic books that he had. And I know they still have a lot of my dad's baseball cards. So that's pretty much it. I'm definitely going to wash my hands, man, because I could feel there's like that, like chemically, like dust-like material on here, whatever that is. I don't know what that is. But, yeah, it's like this slimy, greasy, whatever that is. And, you got to realize plastic has a shelf life. I mean, I'm hoping that these are acid-resistant plastic sleeves that were on some of these. But again, they really weren't stored properly, so I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I mean, temporarily, I'll put them in one of my drawers that I got in my bedroom. But, I mean, hey, listen, I'm happy to even have that. Like, it connects me to my dad a lot more. Yeah, you can tell. I mean, you might not be able to see it on camera. Like, you look at this one, there's like a yellow tint to it. That's probably because of whatever chemical reactions already taken place with these books. So, I mean, I would have to replace these plastics and maybe give them a good basic cleaning with some type of material. It would have to be probably hydrogen peroxide or maybe dish soap, just to, on a microfiber, just to neutralize the acid that's on here. Let me throw this in the trash. Let me wash my hands too, because it's kind of gross. I'm also going to wrap them. I mean, I got a microfiber cloth here. I'm going to try to pick them up with this, so that this way I can reduce the amount of damages on these. I mean, they're not even close to mint or anything like that, but that's not the point. I mean, they're my dad's comic books. Wow, that was a trip. But I know that there are still a lot that I'm going to assume my brother has. I mean, listen, if my brother is more of a comic book guy, and if my brother got some of my dad's comic books, and so be it, because, you know, I've got my dad's Mickey Mantle, I got my dad's Hank Aaron, so I'm not going to complain. You know, what's fair is fair, you know what I mean? So, and I know there's still a lot of stuff that my mom has from my father, so that was a trip. But man, the headache I got from all that dust. Actually, let me grab me some aspirin here. Which, by the way, little note to everybody out there: enteric aspirin, coated aspirin, so that this way you get more of the aspirin in your system. Because your stomach acid will break down normal aspirin, and you'll only get maybe like, I don't know what the exact numbers are, but I know it's pretty low. I think it's like 60% or 70% of the aspirin, at least with the enteric stuff. That coating that's on there will help to slow the breakdown of the aspirin itself, so you get a higher dose in your system. But that's pretty much it, folks. I mean, you know, for what it is, I mean, it's another way for me to connect to my dad in a way I've never known. I mean, as a kid, if we ever messed around with his stuff, like, he would get pissed, and rightfully so. But, you know, as an adult looking at this stuff and appreciating this kind of thing, and knowing that my dad's not here anymore, especially being that it's Christmas time, you know, it's very, very tough to look at this stuff. But if my brother's got the rest of my dad's stuff, I mean, you know, that's fantastic for my brother, because, you know, I know he's a comic book head. You know, he's got graded slabs, as a matter of fact. I think my nephew does too. I'm not sure. But, you know, like I said, as long as I got my dad's Mickey Mantle, I got his Roger Maris cards, I've got the Hank Aaron. I'm not even going to try to complain. You know, I'm very happy my brother's got some of my dad's comic books too. I mean, my brother was the middle child in the family. You know, and I think he commanded a little bit more need for attention than myself, being the firstborn. So I'm very happy if my brother's got my dad's more premium cards. I want to call it premium. But yeah, I remember those Tales from the Crypt comic books and those Star Trek comic books that my dad had. Those are awesome. I wouldn't be surprised if my brother had them graded. But again, I don't want to bother my younger brother, because he's dealing with a lot with my niece. You know, she's a very, very sick little girl, unfortunately. So I try not to bother him so much. You know, especially now for Christmas time, I'm sure it's hard for him, you know. But with the death of my father, it's hard on all of us. You know, I got him all over the place here. I have a mass card right on my desk that I got pinned right in front of my face. I have his photo on my Christmas tree. I got a black and white photo of him right by my front door. So he is revered here in my home. That's for sure. So that's pretty much it. Those were my dad's, just some of my father's comic books. So that was a trip. Really makes me think about my father quite a bit. Quite a bit. You know, it's funny. I'm looking over my shoulder. I got that War of the Worlds war machine right there, sitting on top of my computer, and all the Star Trek stuff up there on my shelves. My dad loved Star Trek and sci-fi. He also loved the old school World War II movies and World War I movies from back in the days, the old black and white movies. He loved the Twilight Zone. He loved all that kind of stuff. I used to hate it though, but you know what really brought us together was watching Star Trek at nighttime. That was cool. Sitting there with my dad, especially when DS9 came out. So, well, that's pretty much it, folks. I mean, thank you for helping me take this trip down memory lane and looking at my dad's books. I'm gonna have to wash my hands again. Yeah, this stuff is like pretty brutal, with the dust. Yikes. So I'm definitely gonna put them in a drawer someplace and see what I do with them. Maybe give them a light cleaning or something like that with some diluted hydrogen peroxide and just wipe the covers off and leave the books as is, and then maybe get some top loaders or what have you for these books. I'll see how I proceed with these in the future, but just it's a trip knowing that I have a piece of him here. You know what I mean? So anyway, folks, that's pretty much it. There's really not much more to talk about. Otherwise, I'll just keep rambling on, and I don't want to bore you folks because this is the last Saturday before Christmas. And I got some things I got to take care of here at home, including having something to eat. It's about 12:30 my time right now. So thank you, everyone. Don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications. It helps the channel to grow. And check out my eBay store, the Carolina Collector 001. The link is in every description box, video, and short that I upload here on YouTube. Thank you to those that have done so already. I really appreciate it. And until next time, I'm your host, the Carolina Collector. I will see you all very soon, folks. Enjoy your weekend.